time. More than sports now. More than crunch time. We rush like fourth down.
I be taking wins. We don't mess with laws. I be taking wins. We don't mess with laws. I be taking wins. We don't mess with laws. I be taking wins. We don't mess with laws. We been on that paper chasing all that fashion. We been on that paper chasing what you ration.
Been in the grind now. We ready for prime time. Ready for shine now. Be ready to get mine. On the rise, all eyes up on us now. Blast off spaceships till the touchdown.
Energy level on high, put that trouble on fire. Double it down, I'ma spit it around. Click, clack, boom, we the best in town. Energy level on high, put that trouble on fire. Double it down, I'ma spit it around. Click, clack, boom, we the best in town. I started off the lowest point in life, though. I started off the lowest point in life, though. I started off the lowest point in life, though. I started off the lowest point in life, though. I started off the lowest point in life, though.
Hey, hey, what's up? My name is Pro. I'm here at the ProQuo Show. Just so you know, making it flow. What's up? What's up, Freedom Corner Brand? I see you. He's saying coming in. I see that. Yeah, man. That was the intro. If you haven't heard the intro before, there it is. It's one of the intros. See, the deal is that intro is not published, so it doesn't shut down the audio, which is a nice touch. Hey, yo, you know what? I'm thinking the ProQuo Show, you know what it's sponsored by tonight? It's sponsored by Professor Lyrical. Put them all to shame, the curriculum. If you did not know Pro's an author, well, now's your chance. You can go out and get the 200-page book, Put them all to shame. Comes with pictures and lyrics and all that kind of stuff. And you can get the album that goes with it. Put them all to shame. Shout out to DJ Shame. Shout out to Robbie Rowland, who engineered the album. Was just talking to Robbie. What's up, Tree? Hope all is well for you. Got a little fuzziness going on my picture here. I think it's the eye up there. Don't mind me if I'm just cleaning it. I got to do a more professional job. That is pro, Tree. I appreciate it. Hey, let me know if you're hearing me crystal clear. Does it need to be a little louder? Because for me, it's a little low. I don't know if it's just the headphones tonight. I got on the big space headphones. You know, I have multiple headphone options. I got the earphone pieces. I got the new wireless joints, which I actually have plugged in so that the Bluetooth can be charging. You know what I mean? So it's like multiple options going on, and that's what we're trying to get done. Hey, that's me, Professor Lyrical, Dr. Peter Michael Plord. We should go by Dr. Peter Michael Plord more often, right? That's real. I don't want y'all to forget. I forget sometimes. You know, where do I have that? I have that somewhere. Oh yeah, there it is. Look at that. Look at that right there. I should leave that up there. I'm rocking the UDC gear. If you haven't seen the UDC gear, you can't really see that well there, but man, it's the royalty checks are not coming in like they should be from UDC. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna wear these at the next 3 shows that I'm doing, just because it's easy. It's the whole sweatsuit too. It's the whole tracksuit, so you don't have to think about it. You know what I mean? You don't have to worry about matching. Just throw that on, and I can look as fly as Forever Lives Yahweh. I see you back there. You're looking mighty black and white, Mr. Fly. I don't know what's going on. We gotta get you in here so I can figure it out. What is going on?
It live in color.
There you are. Did you see that though? It was black and white for a second.
For some reason, it's always shows like that on my end until
that was wild, bro.
Until you hit me with the wand, then I get my color.
Yeah. So were you able to restream the thing on your platforms?
I don't know. I attempted. It
You
said that
attempted
it
it?
was.
What?
So
Give it a minute once you're in, and then check it. Check your platforms there in a second,
okay.
and see if it's doing. So we try to let people know, the behind the scenes is that Restream, the new platform we've been using. If you're a guest, or I send you the link, you can restream the show onto your platforms too.
That's
So
dope. That's
yeah,
dope.
it's definitely I don't, you know what, I don't know. Maybe we can do an experiment. Maybe we can maybe Tree, you can try it out for us. Tree, we're gonna send you the stream link, right? The behind the scenes stream link, and then see if it'll actually work for you without being on the show, if it'll restream to your platform. So we'll try it. So Tree, I'm doing that right now. I'm gonna go to your whoops. Okay, that's weird. I'm gonna go to I'm hearing massive echo because I'm playing the show behind the scenes, hearing myself talk. So I'm going to the Tree Paysan actual page there, send it in the message. Here's the link. See what happens when you do it as a non-guest, and see if that pops up. All right. Wow, that was weird because I was hearing the show in my ears on delay of like 5 seconds. Yeah. Tree, you're saying no sound. Oh, okay. Got you.
Bro,
Yeah, man.
you looking extra saucy today, bro. You looking extra spiffy today. I just want
De-
you to know that.
I was about to say define saucy because I could take many interpretations on that, depending who's the person saying it. You know what I mean? It could be extra drippy.
Extra drippy,
All
bro.
right. As long as it's that kind of saucy, because some people use saucy to mean a little something else, and it's being a little bit in the bag, And
Nah, man, it's definitely the sauce, man. I'm talking about,
there's
spaghetti
no check.
sauce.
There's no check for this UD. I gotta have a conversation with my man. I'm probably gonna send him a clip. President Mason. I'm gonna call President Mason and be like, President Mason, do you see how I'm rocking UDC? And seriously, let's have a UDC moment. Let's have a UDC moment. Should we talk about UDC Fly before we get into it?
Absolutely, man. You gotta have a UDC moment, man.
Let's give me a UDC moment. So I'm gonna share with you guys in a second. And what it'll be is a little bit about UDC, because I think a lot of people don't know. So people a lot of times, like me, when I first came to the district, I was like, I only knew what I knew, and everyone hears about, Howard, maybe when you think DC or Georgetown or whatever, and not everybody's necessarily aware of all of the spots. So I'm going to try to switch that up for you. Right now, I'm going to put udc.edu up on the screen. We're going to talk about them for just a second. And again, they're not cutting any extra checks, just the ones I get for showing up. So this is UDC, University of District of Columbia. The equity imperative is sort of our mission statement. It's pretty cool. These are the links, blah, blah, blah. We see, this is the thing. It is an urban land grant. It's got an agricultural program in the middle of Washington, D.C., right? How cool is that? In the
middle of Washington, D.C.?
Yeah,
agricultural grant.
Yeah. So I mean, they use different kind of off-site places for it too. And actually, the campus that I'm at has one of these there for causes. They have that's an acronym for one of our schools. So if you spell out College of Agriculture, Urban Sustainability, and Environmental Sciences over here, it's causes. So CAUSES. So causes is that, and so people that are into the urban agriculture kind of thing, you can go there. Grad programs, let's check out the grad programs. For those of you who have a bachelor's degree and you're like, where should I go? Let's look. Grad students, that's what you got to do. You can come on in. You can apply to the programs. And actually, speaking of programs, let's actually hit programs. Let's go to academics and hit programs. So you can see what kind of degree you can get here. So you can get an associate's degree, a non-degree, right? You can sort of stack your credentials and get a bachelor's and a master's and doctorate, plus the law school is pretty renowned at UDC. So these are all the different degrees you can get. A is associates, B is bachelor, M is master, and PhD or the D is doctorate. So that's it. Urban leadership and entrepreneurship doctorate you can get. We don't have too many doctoral programs. PhD in computer science and engineering, and then a lot of master's programs and bachelor's programs. And so you get the idea. So anything you want to take, you can get it at UDC. The cool thing about UDC is It's actually in the main campus here. This is it. It's actually in a pretty nice section of DC. It's in Northwest, which is kind of almost getting up by Maryland, and not kind of. I mean, it is. It's real close to the Maryland border, on the northwest side of DC, and but we have multiple campuses. We have a community college campus, which is where I spend the bulk of my time. Click over to here, bang. Now it's interesting because we no longer are in that particular campus. All our
how you feeling about that, bro? You never really talked to me about the posts. Talk to me about the pre.
You know, the thing is with it. Hold on, let me do one more thing here. So under where is it? I want to find campus tour. See, if you want to do the campus tour, that's where you go. So go get your campus tour, check it on out. And the thing is, for the money, right? If you're a prospective student and you're coming there for the money, it's crazy. I mean, if you think, I forget where it is on here. If you want to do, I should probably know a little bit better. Under the admissions and enrollment, yeah, there we go. Tuition and fees. I knew it was there. I just didn't see it jumping out of me. Check out these prices are unheard of in these days, right? So if you are like in the district, it's ridiculously cheap. If you're outside of the district, it's a little bit more expensive, right? So you're looking at your credit hours here, blah blah blah. Let's look at if you're doing 12 credits. If you're doing 12 credits, $9,000. Pretty reasonable, right? This day and age, it's kind of unheard of. So it's pretty cheap. And you can get more into that, but that's kind of unheard of. You know what I mean? So you can knock out the degrees and you know, we're talking like outstate, in-state. I mean, that's, you know, this is undergraduate non-resident. That's if you don't live in the district, right? But look how much it goes down when you're within the DMV, right? So this is the undergraduate metro area. So if you're in the metro area, it's down to 5,000. That's pretty much like the surrounding part of DC. And then if you're actually in the district, that drops down to, what is it, 4,000? Undergraduate metro, undergraduate resident. Yeah, you're talking like $4,000, bro. It's crazy. So it's the only affordable option in the district, would like to say, for especially if you're paying yourself. But yeah, Fly, great question. I mean, in terms of like where I am, you know what I mean? We're in the build out phase, you know, so there's boxes everywhere, and you know what I'm saying? It's we don't even have like faculty offices yet. We're kind of improvising with these little quad areas for now, and you know, dealing with COVID and everything, you got to be careful and make sure it's spaced out and ventilated. We're staggered. Like my schedule, I don't go in on, you know, a couple days a week, and so it tends to be like the people that, you know, excuse me, you may see 1 or 2 days a week, and you're not really spending that much time around any other people in high degree right now. We're still in that weird mode, but woo, got a little I had some great food tonight. Joe Theismann's restaurant. Yes, the Joe Theismann right here.
Joe Theismann.
It's got a nice restaurant. The skin on fries were particularly nice, gotta say. So unofficial shout out to the Joe Theismann.
Oh, okay. Yeah. You know, I definitely gotta give a nod to all the culinarians out there.
Of course you do,
bro. You know, I'm rocking
salmon.
with that.
My wife was loving the salmon. I just had a Greek salad, bro, and some fries, and my son had a little cheeseburger. He was enjoying. He's like, Daddy, these fries are really good.
So salmon, cheeseburgers, skin on fries, Greek salad, like a diner.
No, it's like a formal restaurant. I'm vegetarian, so I tend to get salad and maybe fries on Friday. That's me going wild. And he's only gonna get. There's only so many things he's gonna eat. For him, getting cheeseburger, that's like the closest thing to a real meal he'll eat. And my wife she was in the mood for salmon. She's like, let's try something different. Let's go to the Joe Theismann spot. We haven't been there like 2 years. So I got some takeout there. I was running down. I was like, let me get down there, get my food up. What up, pro? I see you, Trina. Cool. Yeah, so let me know about that if that actually worked out. So we were gonna have Singapore Kane up in tonight. He had some unfortunate stuff that he had to take care of tonight. I don't want to, share his business out there, but so we hope to have him up in soon. And in terms of, like, he's from Boston. In terms of Boston, Fly, there's some Boston news that we got to talk about. It's Tom Brady thing, bro.
Yeah, man, New England. I guess you could call it Boston news. I mean, he is.
It definitely is.
I mean, he did make that was his home for a long time, and so they really took a chance on him. You know, when he was just when
I used to drive by his crib every day.
No one really knew who he was, man. And so I think somebody kind of let the cat out of the bag a little early,
I think so too.
Yeah, I think he wanted to be able to be the one to break the news that he was going. So he tried to play it off like he wasn't really sure. And then like a few days later, I think him and his team just decided. I wonder if his wife kind of talked him into retirement because he kind of left the last season like coming back. I mean, I think we all felt that way, other than people who probably was real close to him.
Yeah, I mean, obviously he was either the MVP or the runner-up to the MVP at 44 years old. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, obviously he was at the top of his game. And I mean, that game was incredible. I mean, that's as close as you can come to winning without winning. Just a miracle comeback. And it's like, I saw somebody write this. You'd appreciate this. I might have mentioned it to you last week. Someone said, however much he paid for his deal to the devil. That was before the game was over when they had come all the way back. Like, however much he paid for his deal to the devil, it is paying dividends. Like, but it's gonna be a bummer to repay that. But yeah, it's like I've never seen so much fate in either direction. I mean, you think of the David Tyree catch, and you think of the Malcolm catch. I mean, to turn things totally on the opposite ends, right? You know what I mean? And you think of the second game. I don't remember who was it made that credible catch that Elway threw. An Elway. What am I saying? Not Elway. You know who I mean. What's his name?
For Pittsburgh?
No, for the Giants. Back.
Oh, it's my Eli.
Yeah, Eli.
Yeah, that David Tyree catch was crazy, man. Like,
watched it a million times.
Yeah, bro, and I think just not the time.
It's gonna come out one of these times when I watch it. I'm pretty sure.
And you know what's amazing to me is that we talk sports often, and the whole GOAT debate about basketball. Football is one case where the greatest quarterback of all time is undebatable. But when it comes to like sports, and the reason why I mention this in relation to Tom Brady is because people often credit LeBron for longevity and his accomplishments in the sense that he may not necessarily won, but he made it. And so rarely do people talk about how often Tom Brady was in it.
Just got there.
You know what I mean? Like nobody
times,
talks about that because he's won so many times. Nobody talks about the fact or the times he was in the playoffs and just didn't make it that far.
What was it? 20, 19? I think it was like 19.
20 seasons, man.
20 seasons.
Like yeah, bro. Easy.
Yeah. And 19 of them.
Easy.
Yeah, it's just insane, man. Just it's never been seen. I mean, there's never. I mean, you think of like Bill Russell, but it's like
in sports, like just in sports in general.
But you're talking about teams that were totally stacked. Those Celtic teams, it was like unfair, and it's like in the modern era. I mean, I'm not to take away from Bill Russell, but just to say, I mean, a team was already stacked. It was like the whole team, like Hall of Fame.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, absolutely. That's one of the greatest teams in history of the NBA. That I have never seen a team stacked like that, with the exception of some of the Lakers teams. And
again, it's not to discredit. He did what he was supposed to do, but it's like anyone who would have had longevity on those teams would have a ton of rings as a result. And the thing is like, I said today in a post, people were talking about the top 15 Celtics of all time. And, I had to post my little dig in there and say that Jason Tatum will definitely be replacing some of those names.
Absolutely.
And, I was looking at Bill Sharman because he was the most suspect on the list. and it's not suspect because I'm saying he's bad. I just like, do you know what Bill Sharman did? Like, I just hear the name and I'm like, come on. This is one of those dudes who was.
So I know Havlicek, Cozy. What about the Chief, McHale, Bird?
Yeah, no, I'll share it with you. I'll share it off my Facebook page here. This is the.
I don't see how Sharman would have made that one, but
I looked up his numbers and he was legit. You know what I'm saying? He was absolutely legit. There's no doubt about it.
But if you're going 15 deep, I can see that. If you're going 15 deep,
right. So here's your team. Here's your team. 15 best Celtics to ever play on the Celtics. All right. So and they're looking at most talented players who ever played on the Celtics, kind of deal. And we're not going to talk Shaq playing 1 year. You got to play like 3.
What about KG? Is KG?
Yeah. That amount of time was acceptable. It wasn't just like a season. Right. So you got Ray Allen, Larry Bird, Bob Cousy, Dave Cowens, Kevin Garnett, John Havlicek, Tommy Heinsohn, Dennis Johnson, Sam Jones, Kevin McHale, Robert Parrish, Paul Pierce, Bill Russell, Bill Sharman, and JoJo White. Now, Bill Sharman seemed to be the odd man out there, so I had to look him up, and I was like, let's look him up. You know what I'm saying?
He was
And
decent. He was decent. If it's 15, he definitely makes a shot. I mean,
he was
even
scoring
JoJo.
20. He was scoring 20 points a game basically regularly, right? So he had a run of like, those 6, 7, 8 years or whatever, where he was a consistent. Oops, I spelled his name wrong. I can't even give him his respect. Here's his stats. We're gonna look up his stats, right? Look right here. So we got 20, 20, 20, 19, 3, 19, 9. So basically it's like 5 years at about 20 points in a row, right? So legit player, clearly, but not like, otherworldly. I mean, to put that side by side with somebody like, well, let's use Ray Allen, right? Ray Allen. Right?
I don't see how Ray. I don't really see how Ray makes that team though.
This is how. Because dude,
I don't see how Ray makes that team. His years with the Celtics. What was
1,
his numbers?
2, 3, 4, 5 years. All right, so 5 years with the Celtics. Now, keep in mind, he won a banner, right? The last banner they ever won. So he was shooting 40% from three in his first year, 18 points a game. He was basically 17, 18, 16 points a game his 3 years, but he was a specialist, right? And they wouldn't have won those championships without him. But I don't think they're strictly just saying what they just did on their time of the Celtics if players were on other teams, because obviously KG and Ray Allen and Rondo, and well, Rondo didn't make it, but Paul Pierce or whatever. You look at Ray Allen and KG, their numbers aren't eye-popping on the Celtics, but it's like when you look at look at Ray's numbers. I'm the biggest Ray Allen fan in the world, right?
I already know that. I just don't
22,
see how Ray
22,
makes it
21, 22, 21, 24, 23, 23, 25, 26, even his dwindling years, 17, 18, 16, and clearly he was the odd man out in terms of who had to take the least amount of shots on that team. Like it was Ray Allen out of the big three. It was Ray taking the least amount of shots, and they don't win those. They don't win the championship without him, and they don't go to Game 6 with LA without him either. And if Perkins, or Game 7, if Perkins wasn't injured, they have 2 titles. He gets injured in the last game. They have no center to go up against their big guy in the championship game, and he was out for that game. So it was like, people forget that. That's 2 banners in a row they would have had with a center. But anyways. So this was it. Your boy Larry Bird's gonna be there. Your
Larry
boy
Legend.
now Dennis Johnson to me was like, I grew up watching Dennis Johnson.
Dennis
to
Johnson
me, that
was a baller.
To me, it's questionable. Like, it's like he was a baller. He's like the Marcus Smart of the team, but of the best 15.
I would think he would be better than Marcus Smart, though, if I had to rate his athleticism and
here's his numbers.
All of that.
Highest season he ever scored was 19.5, and he wasn't on the Celtics. He comes to the Celtics a lot like Ray Allen, sort of like a tail end, still in the end of peak, right?
Yeah.
He comes in the end of peak. So 13, 15, 15, 13, 12, 10.
What years
7.
were those?
Those are his numbers. 83 through 90.
Talking about taking the fewest shots, he was probably like the fourth or fifth person on that team.
Yeah, it's funny. I just lost my my computer's being a little slow, so it kicked me out there. So I'm not sure. Yeah, he wasn't the main scoring option, right? Clearly, when you have Bird, Parrish, and McHale,
he wasn't even in the big three. So if Ray Allen makes the list, he's definitely on the list as the fourth man on the list.
Yeah,
with those numbers,
right. So, and yeah, they don't win without DJ. Some of those 80s championships that they won, the 84 and 86 year, they definitely don't win without him. But anyways, back to the Patriots. I know Tree's commenting on the Patriots too. We got to talk about him in a second. So the other situation, right? And I'm not sure if I can share this because it does look like my computer's crashing. Let's see. Let's unshare this. And let's go to. I'll do it this way. There's another article that came out today. It talks about Tom Brady earnings. Okay. Now, when you think of Tom Brady, you think of I don't know about you, but I think of pretty conservative earnings based upon the player that he was. Right.
I would. Yeah. I guess I kind of agree
because he took a lot of publicized pay cuts.
Absolutely. I would say it was mid conservative. He still got paid, but he wasn't a max deal guy. But he still was well compensated, just because of his position.
What up, Bakari? I see you on there too. I feel like something is mad shady with the Patriots. There's definitely a big story. It's going to be shocking. I feel it. Something isn't right about the team. All right, cool. What's Bakari saying about that? You'll enjoy the content, fellas. You also bring the energy to fan base. Yes, definitely. We should. We are trying to get to fan base as well. So, anyways, as far as Tom Brady, right? He took a lot of advertised pay cuts, as we were just saying. Now, in the aggregate, when you think about how much money he made over the career length of his career, because he played so long, he's going to be the top grossing NFL player of all time. That's the shocker. So that's something that if you were to say, hey, who's the top grossing person, you might think that, but I know I was shocked to hear that. So here's the article.
It makes sense, man, because he played the starting quarterback position at a high level for at least 15 years. There's no way anybody could have made more money than him. Nobody did it like that.
Yeah, you know what? I'm not liking this version of the article. Let's look for it again. Tom Brady career earnings. The Google search. Yeah, this is it. Okay, this is the one. Tom Brady retirement, highest earning NFL player in history, $292 million in 22 seasons. That'd be almost pedestrian these days for what these basketball players are getting now. Just a few years,
absolutely, bro. They make that in one contract, almost two good contracts, and they make that 8 years.
So let's do the math here, though. What player has decided to announce his retirement last Tuesday while owning countless records, most wins of all time, Super Bowl titles, air yards, and touchdowns, but can also boast having received the most money earned in the NFL? Yes, Tom Brady. At 44 age and half his life, 22 seasons in the league, Brady accumulated 292, so basically $300 million through his enviable career, the result of salaries, bonuses, and other incentives. You can just feel that that's a low number compared to where things are going to be in a few years, you know, and like when, you know, players started cracking the 20 million number in NBA, we're like, this is out of control. And now it's like, yeah, now 40, right? Brady's announced his retirement, blah, blah, 7-time Super Bowl champion, 5-time Super Bowl MVP, 3-time NFL MVP, career on-field earnings, $291 million, blah, blah, blah. Who does he surpass in NFL? So who was the next? Drew Brees.
Yes. I see that.
Ben Roethlisberger.
I see that.
Can that man go, please? Matt Ryan. Aaron Rodgers.
That's what I'm saying. The quarterback position. You played the quarterback position in the NFL at the starting position for a decade, which all of those guys did. Plus, especially you look at Ben and Breeze. Right. Even if you're not the highest paid quarterback, you're still going to be one of the highest paid players in the NFL just because.
Absolutely. Look how little he made in his first couple of years when he was on the bench. It's important to remember his first 2 seasons, Brady barely had earnings of $231,000 and $372,000 respectively.
Especially 20-something years ago, bro. Patriots weren't paying nobody.
Right. When he was deciding whether he was going to go pro baseball or whatever, though, I'm telling you, when he got $200,000 and $300,000, he was like, hey, I think I made the right decision.
Absolutely.
And I'm on the Patriots.
On the bench.
Yep. I think I did it right. I was reading stories about him going into the same little pizza and sub shop every night, like the day before game day. Yeah. He used to just come in the local sub shop and be like, yeah, I'm just here for my pizza. You know, he's living in like the apartment near Foxborough, you know what I'm saying? Like wherever he was living, just a little humble dude. And they were like, oh, that's that guy on the bench. Yeah. It's not like he was ever a scrub in college, but it wasn't like he was the dominant superstar.
He was not a star in college either, though. I mean, like he was just cerebral and really good, and he didn't have as many opportunities too because of the conference division he played in. For everybody
comeback kid, right? Though they're still calling him that when he won those bowl games. But the honor of being the NFL's highest earning player is sure to be short-lived for Brady, as Mahomes and Josh Allen have signed contract extensions guaranteed the amounts of $450 million for 10 years and $258. So people are going to pass $1 billion.
That's what I was going to say, bro. Mahomes got the deal, bro. When he signed his extension was like worth $1 billion.
Yeah, what's his he's Under Armour? I forget. What's his Under Armour deal or whoever he is? I can't remember.
I don't know what his Under Armour deal was, but I just know his NFL deal was worth crazy amount of money.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people don't realize those sneaker deals are more than most players make on the field.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Mahomes got something else other than just money. It was a stock or something like that that kind of made his bill like some crazy valuation, but. Also, when you look at Brady, I was just going to say, bro, if he hadn't made $500 million in his career, I would not have been surprised. But he also wouldn't have won as much. And so that just kind of.
I mean, his off the field earnings are stupid too. I mean, it's like speaking of Under Armour,
his wife is worth as much money as he is. So like, you don't really got to be greedy, bro. You can really take.
She was worth considerably more for his whole career. Until very, very recently, are they even close? It was like the Beyonce Jay-Z. It was like Beyonce was always way more, and then he kind of came up, and it was like, okay, now you talk about Jay-Z more sometimes, but because of all the business deals, and we're not talking about the side deals and stuff. And
Right.
this whole TB12 thing is gonna be out of control too, I'm sure.
Like anything with TB12 on it, bro. And I hope he was smart enough to brand that for himself.
He did.
Because he's gonna make another multiple $millions. He can open up anything. He can start a QB.
How smart is it being TB and you're on Tampa Bay and it's TB12? I mean,
bro.
that's brilliant too. You can double dip. He's gonna get that Patriot money, that New England money. He's gonna get that Tampa Bay money, and he is in that lane of. Here's the thing I don't like about Brady. I mean, I love everything about him on the field. It's just like the people he's around in that world are in that whole self-help kind of, like guru thing. And in fact, I saw Jules Edelman speaking at one of those conferences that I went to. I only went to one, and my wife wanted to check it out. We wanted to check it out. We got there. We're like, yo, this is so sleazy. People were like trying to, it was Tony Robbins was there. You know what I'm saying? It was one of those Tony Robbins ones. And he's in that lane, sort of. I've never seen him do it. Yes,
I don't know much about his off the field endeavors.
Jules Edelman was one of his. He was up there getting. I mean, hey, God bless him. They're up there getting that check. You know what I'm saying?
I don't like that, man. You know how I feel about people taking advantage of the whole religious thing, man. It's cultic and it's embarrassing.
Right. I mean, but that thing wasn't religion. I'm just saying that they were up there, doing their whole, self-help kind of.
If Tony Robbins was there, it was definitely tied to that.
Yeah. I mean, he kept it pretty PC general, kind of whatever, but I'm not a Tony Robbins fan. You know what I'm saying? It's not my thing. I don't mean anything against him personally. I just mean like, I'm not, and maybe I should be. I'm not much of a salesman when it comes to. I'm not like, hey, you got to buy this. I jest around, kid. I'll throw my book up. Definitely, hey, buy the art. But I'm not anti-business. I'm not saying that. I'm just not like, hey, you got to buy my album every 5 seconds. You know what I'm saying? And like I'd rather talk to people if they want to buy the album. Cool. And if I was a little bit more desperate, maybe it'd be different. But and for some people that really works for them. They sell anything and they're really good at it. I'm not particularly great at it. I'm just kind of like, if I believe in something, I can sell it, but otherwise I'm not trying to stick it in your face. And that stuff to me is just stick it in your face, like buy myself help. Yeah. Do I want you to book me to come to your school? Absolutely. Do you want you to book me to come do professional development? Absolutely. I'm good at it. You should, but I'm not coming to say, if you do everything that's on here and, file your nails in this way and, put your clothes in the drawer this way.
Bro,
and,
it's a personality trait, man. Like, it's just not who we are, bro. Like that's that introvert part that we always talk about, man. Like I'm not forcing myself on anybody. Even though I have I have supreme confidence in my ability and my capabilities, but just for whatever reason, I just don't feel, and it's probably not the right approach to have as an entrepreneur.
It's probably not.
As an entrepreneur,
it's probably not.
Artist, man, we need to be more like Tony Robbins, man. But it's just, to me, it's real cheesy, and I don't like it, man. And I don't like people who approach me like that either.
Yeah. It's catch-22.
It may be pride.
It's like,
I don't know. I hope it's not.
It's, I would say this, like, as you know, and people that know me from Boston know, I promoted an awful lot of shows. So it's not like I wasn't doing the business of music, right? But I would honestly promote shows that I wanted to see. I'd book an artist that I wanted to see. I would overpay someone that I wanted to come to see. It wouldn't make necessary financial sense, but I knew that going in, and I'm like, I want to see it. I think it'd be cool for the scene. I'd love to do a show with this person. Hey, I'm going to book them, and like, then other people would take the approach, I'm going to book the show that's going to absolutely be a killer. I'm going to think strategically about it. And I'm going to book in an artist when they're traveling. Not to say I wouldn't do this either. Like if an artist was traveling to New York, I'd be like, yo, make an extra phone call. Hey, you want to come up to Boston? I can throw you another G.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And sometimes they would, sometimes they wouldn't, no doubt, Tree. Appreciate the book. But I wouldn't be like killing myself to be doing it. Whereas a business person would be like, hey, this would be a smart financial move. I can afford to pay this person $2,900. Let me throw them, let me offer them 15. And if they say anything under the 29, great. And then I'll really promote it and I'll load it up and I'll make this the show that I really ball out on or whatever,
Right.
and then use that money to flip it into something bigger and better. And before you know it, you're booking big people or whatever. And then you're selling CDs, you're selling merch, you're selling books, and you're charging other people to sell their merch at your events. That's pretty much how the game works with promotion. And then you're getting sponsors, right? And sponsors are easy when you have a big crowd. They come all the time. It's not really that hard. Now you can do that, you can make a career of it. But for me, at the end of the day, I used to tell this to everybody. I was a benefactor of having a lot of drive and a lot of ambition. But my drive and ambition was never to sell stuff. It was just I wanted to create more and more opportunities,
Right.
for myself, first and foremost, for the scene, second, and for other artists who were doing something similar that I met, probably third, probably in that order most of the time. I wasn't doing it for some philanthropy, like, hey, let me just, I think it'd be wonderful to just, think about the cause and the purpose. No, I did plenty of shows that were just smart shows and shows that I personally liked. So it did start with me. I was like, let me do a show that I'd like, but let me find my tribe. Let me find the people who like what I like, and let me build with those people and stay in that environment. And that would be, for me, fun. It'd be a stress reliever. It'd be really cool. When it got past that and it was like people pushing you to, yo, you got to go get another sponsor. Yo, you got to cut a better deal with the bar. You got to get, you got to get this drink mixes going on. You got to convince, and then it's what it is. And then the name of it is you're promoting alcohol all the time. And I'm like, I don't even drink, so it's a lot. And so when I see people doing it just to get the dollar however they can, I get it. I'm not going to bash it. It's just not my thing. That's what I'm saying. I don't have any ill will towards like Tony Robbins, but that's not my thing. Trying to convince people that all you got to do is do it like me. No, bro, you had some fortune in your life. you walked into some really, really good situations, and it isn't going to work for every single person the same way.
And that's the other part of it for me too, bro. People, there really is very few things where, if we all did the same thing and we get the same result. It's not like doing math.
Doesn't,
you know what I mean?
No, it's not.
It's not 2
plus
Tree,
2. Thanks. Appreciate your comment.
For another people, 2 plus 2 isn't always 4 outside of math. You know what I'm saying? It's just
absolutely
there's too many other external factors and variables in life and society I would rather, if you're going to say it, just make it in a sense that, like, this is what I did. Hey, you can try. It may work for you, but
that's exactly the approach I take. Yeah. I take the approach like that, and I give the disclaimer. I come in and we got to say this, the trees thing here too. I'm going to say this in between. So how about Mike Tyson and NFTs? He's been pitching on Instagram. He's going to be making a lot of money, but it's bad for the environment. He's already making a killing. Tyson has done very well on a lot of business ventures, namely cannabis. He's done very, very well on that. He's definitely showed to be a better business person than I think a lot of people would have given him credit for. But yeah, to just kind of put it out there and think about, like, all of this stuff said collectively, I think probably the best way for me to sum it up is, like, I'll do the same thing. I'll say, hey, yo, here's my disclaimer. Like, I think your chances are actually, if I don't know anything about you and I don't know anything about your talent, the chances of you being a successful rapper are very slim.
Keep it right? Real,
they're very slim. And I mean success even in, like, the success like we've had. Like, like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like on a relatively humble scale.
Yes,
you've done, you get with a label, you have some songs out, you do some shows, some of them are paid, some of them probably weren't, you know what I mean? And, like, you've been able to do it for a prolonged amount of time. Even that is very difficult. And it's like, to get to any of those steps, it's like, here's what I did, but here's why it might work easier for me. A, what I look like. B, I'm a male. C, I'm college educated, right? D, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of variables.
It makes a difference, man.
Yeah, and you can never just go, I just work so hard. I know so many people who got this huge chip on their shoulder because they've worked so hard and they feel like no one's paying attention to them or whatever. And it's like, I got all the same sob stories, but I also got dental, medical.
Right.
I got to educate. There's a lot of things I've done that have allowed me to be in the position that I'm in. So I don't just think it's my talent or my grind. Nah, I also got 2 parents that are together. You know what I'm saying? Like that alone, it puts you in a whole different stratosphere,
bro.
And I don't know why people just don't acknowledge it and be like, so I'm like, I don't know Tony Robbins' entire life story or whatever. I'm sure there's a lot of sob stories, but what I'm saying is we all got them, and to just say, I overcame because I slept in my car. No, sleeping in your car was one of the ingredients. It might have been because of the shoes you wore that particular day. That somebody, you can't just pinpoint it to the stuff that you do. Generally, consistency works. Generally, being a good person works, and generally believing in yourself and investing in yourself, if everything else is in place, generally works. End of secret.
That's it. That's the sauce, bro.
That's it. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Like, but the thing is like there's levels of good. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? There's levels of good.
Yeah, no,
like
bro.
I listened to, I was playing the other day in a room. I played I was in Clubhouse, and I played our Freedom Corner joint. And I think shout out to I was gonna say shout out to Fly, shout out to Tree, shout out to D-Roo in the building. Shout out Legendary. And Legendary was there. And and I was great to see him come in. And for those of y'all who don't know Legendary, he's a great friend of Fly's, label mate, the in-house producer of Freedom Corner brand. Just an immense talent, and musical, like, oozes musicality, right? Also oozes a similar vibe to Fly. It's a confidence, a humbleness.
Yeah.
Don't get it twisted. He knows he's nice, right? But he's never gonna be out barking,
my guy, man.
right? Yeah, he's not going to be out tooting his horn or anything like that, and that's why I feel like an obligation, like, to do it for him. So I was in a room, and shout out to a lot of people who've given me a lot of support on there. Tommy Jackson being one of them. I was in one of his rooms, and as soon as I got in, he was like, "Yo, Pro's in here. Like, I definitely want to play one of his spoken word joints. It's Black History Month. We want to play his joint that he does, Raptivism, and and he goes, Pro, unless you got something new or something else you want to play that you think is more fitting." And I was like, you know what? Freedom Corner would be real fitting. And I said, we just made the decision that we're going to work that to radio. Immediately. In fact,
this is a good month.
Yeah. We're going to work that to radio, like, right now. And starting next week, that's going to be on the airwaves. And so I was like, my verse, particularly in the middle, is definitely touching upon, like, I talk about, the education system that I had. I didn't even know who Medgar Evers was when I was a kid. I had to read that in a book when I was 18. It wasn't in my school curriculum, right? And it was like it was like maybe at best sort of the trivial tokenism of Martin Luther King Day during February, right? And every now and then you get something. Not to say obviously we knew Martin Luther King Day was, but that's it. You know what I'm saying? It was like, and it's in Black History Month, which we are in now, in case anyone didn't know. Happy Black History Month to everybody out there. Is that, is relegated to this month. And then that's it. And so that's what I'm kind of talking about in the song. And then Fly's talking about, and actually Quo, I should say first, who starts the track off, he's talking about, like, the plan. He's talking about coming together as Freedom Corner, like the label, like, let's make this grind, let's get in it. And you're talking about the actual corner and the trappings and what you had to do to, like, overcome and switch your life up and get down with Freedom Corner. And I'm talking about Freedom Corner, like, sort of the historical significance.
The song is beautiful. It's eloquent, man.
Absolutely. But his production is insane, right? And so we played that song, the room goes nuts. And I'm like, oh, by the way, he's next to me. That's my man right there. Jay, check him out. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, Legendary, whatever. And actually he spoke. He spoke. He said,
what?
He said was good. Well, yes, he came off the mic and he spoke. It was very brief, but he was like, yo, it was good. So
bro,
it was crazy.
You didn't tell me that.
He came off the mic. Yeah. He absolutely did.
Can't believe
and but here's the thing. So I'm saying all this long-winded way of saying it like this. Is like a couple things. First of all, it's, and shout out to D-Roo making beats too, by the way. I gotta hear some more D-Roo music, by the way. I love Mike. I see you, Trina. In the big picture of it, when you telling someone all the time, like, yo, this is how you do it, this is how you do it, and you're not being forthcoming and saying, look, I've been fortunate, right? But we also have to assume a certain level of expertise. But you do have to toot your horn to an extent, being in this industry.
Absolutely.
You can't play humble possum and think things are going to work out, or else you will be that bitter person later who has the chip on their shoulders, like, yo, why have I never got more props, blah, blah, blah. Why has no one ever, said how dope I am or whatever. Sometimes we got to say it for other people. My point with Legendary. And because it's just not that personality type. And let's face it, it's not necessarily our inherent personality type
Right.
either. But we understand what you need to do in the bit. You got to be like, look, I know that spoken word wise, we're talking about spoken word, whatever, spoken word wise, I feel like if I sit down right now and write spoken word, it's going to be pretty solid, with because of how much time I've put into it in my life. Now, if I want to turn around and say to anybody, hey, all you got to do is just sit down and focus, that's crap. You don't just sit down and
No,
focus.
it's not work
You
like
know what I'm
that.
saying?
The first time I wrote something, bro, it was terrible. Do you hear what I'm saying?
Absolutely. First thing you need to do is listen to someone that you think is amazing, and then if you're lucky enough to get a chance to ask them what they've done, they're gonna tell you that they've spent hours in the dojo, hours in the gym, trying to perfect that craft. So
That's the truth. But I'm glad, man, that I think some of it is the responsibility too, bro. Like, I think when it comes to you talking about what you do and explaining and offering it, you, number one, you assume the responsibility that this person is taking what you say at value. And number two, you assume the responsibility of that person's result. And so it's not just about you. And that's kind of the difference. Like, when you think about it, when I think about it, I'm also thinking about the result of that person. And I'm just like, I just don't want you to get into it and it not work for you and you turn out bitter. You know what I'm saying? So I'm always consciously thinking like, this could very well work and it could not. And the worst thing that could happen is that what I tell you doesn't work out for you and you become a worse version of yourself, depressed or just, whatever, bitter.
Yeah.
And I don't want that for you. So I'm always give you the disclaimer.
Give you the full disclaimer. Checking this one out. I've had two colleagues. You see that?
Yeah.
I've had two colleagues pay $35,000 to $65,000 for Tony Robbins workshops. Really? These two guys still haven't gotten the status they were promised. I'm sure they haven't, right?
Bro, he's really charging that much?
Dude, like, think about it, right? Like, the dude's name, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy at some point. If people are paying you $35,000 to $65,000, you're going to start feeling like that your stuff doesn't stink either, because this is constantly coming in. When they're at these things, they're selling these packages, they're selling that, and they're talking about how wonderful they are. They're talking about how wonderful they are because they're still finding someone to give them 35 to 55 grand. Then they move on to the next, and it's almost like a Ponzi scheme in a way, because you move on to the next without hearing if the results for this dude work.
Right.
And I've heard thousands of these comments, not just about Tony Robbins, but like he says, all that prosperity guru stuff doesn't necessarily work, right? He said, I don't hate, but that prosperity guru stuff doesn't last. So true. It's like we get up there and you start talking like, you two can cake in. First of all, I see these on Clubhouse all the time. They write, we're going to run up your numbers. We're going to run up your view, meaning they're going to, we're going to run up your socials, right? Everybody get in there. Let's add each other. Man, I got one of those rooms the first time. I didn't know what it meant. I was like, this is I'll never go in a room like that ever. Like, I don't care about you running up my socials.
Bro,
you know what I'm saying?
I'd rather have 100 people that I know is gonna rock with me solid than just to have 1,000 followers. Well, that means
absolutely
nothing.
Yep. Absolutely. And it's like, if people want to follow you, great. Hey, that's great. Like, that's the name of the game, right? People got to know how to reach you. They want to, but it's not like I'm going to be reaching out to follow you and to figure out, like, dude, I don't even know you, so if we have a relationship or something like that, like, cool, I'm going to end up following you. But I follow, just even use Instagram, right? Every single person that's on my Instagram, I either know or have had multiple communications with, like back channeled or whatever like that. Right. Or I don't add them. It's just that simple, I generally have a policy with Facebook and stuff like that. I don't call anyone I don't know, and there's been many people that have hit me up here with phone numbers, and it's just like, it just kind of goes against my general policy. It's like, if I don't know you, I'm generally not calling you. It's just kind of how I've always been wired, Yeah. Now it's different. I mean, I've met a lot of people, quote unquote, virtually, and that's different. You start talking, you develop a relationship. You're like, yo, here's my number or whatever. But just for me, I want to know when my phone rings, it's someone I know. That's how I am with my number, Yeah, plenty of people have my number. It's not like it's off limit, but I give it to people and I'm like, yo, this is my actual number. This is my actual email. Like, I don't have anybody answering my phones or answering my emails or check. I used to actually for a while, but this is all me, and I'm like, I'm not giving you my number. You know what I'm saying? Like, unless I really need to, because every time that phone rings and is disturbing me, I want it to know that it's important. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Yeah. But
Yeah, bro.
and
That's
otherwise it's just like it's all fake stuff, and it just you get so caught up in that. You're so busy, your phone's ringing for fake stuff all the time, and it's like, come on, bro.
yeah,
Like,
yeah. It's
I
not
don't,
worth
I
it,
don't really
bro.
need that.
It's not worth it at all. And it's tough, man, being kind of introverted, man, because oftentimes people that I know, especially creatively, that are introverts, man, have so much to offer. Then there's people out there that have nothing to offer that's the most popular. And there's this vanity and vexation that's going on, like charging $65,000 for something that never works for you. And it's like you want to
Yeah,
be more accessible because and I struggled with this for a while, and you kind of helped me with this a little bit. I know I would never take advantage of people. I know that what God gave me to give to people is just, I've been in opportunity. I've had multiple opportunities, even just being the leader or operations manager and our director. I've had plenty of opportunities to take advantage of people, and
right.
I just can't do it.
Yeah, it's not in your core. Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just not in me.
Like even as a business principal, like I learned this like as an undergrad, and I learned this from mentors that I had. They were, and you hear now people say it all the time, but it was like people were always like, yo, a deal has to be two ways. Like if you both don't benefit from it, either that person's going to get disgruntled or you're going to get disgruntled. Why don't you work hard up front to make a deal mutually beneficial and never try to screw anyone? Like anyone who's trying to screw somebody is always going to get it. It's karma is going to come back to you. It's universal law. It's like, it's going to happen. And I'm not trying to be like all, mystical with it or anything, but it's like, yo, bro, like it's just, or biblical, you sow what you reap what you sow.
Absolutely, right.
It's very common sense. It's like, why would I ever treat you poorly? Like what would I, unless I'm mad at you or have an axe to grind with you or something like that, then I'm not going to say I'm flawless. Right? We've all wanted to smack someone in the head, and sometimes we feel like they deserve it, and we act that out. Not judging, right? It's a judgment-free zone here at the ProQuo Show. But what I am, but I will say this to you, Fly. I have no problem quoting 20K out my mouth to come to your school to perform, and I might not get it. But that's now the range that I'm moving into. Start. I went from 5 to 10 to 15 to 20. I have no problem coming up because I feel like that's what I'm worth comparatively. So when I see a Tony Robbins doing 35 to 65K for one workshop, right? I'm not surprised. To me, that actually doesn't sound like all that ridiculous. It's just a different claim than I'll make. I'm coming to entertain and edutain, and I'm coming to educate and entertain. I'm not coming to self-help you. Yeah, I do professional development, which is help for people, right? Like when I do faculty development, like I'm trying to help a faculty member think of a different way to approach a problem or whatever. And when I get hired by a school district, they're bringing me in to come rap, first of all, right? To do spoken word, to entertain the people, show them how we use hip hop in the classroom, and do some PD ideas all wrapped up in one.
Right.
Yo, I know that's worth 20K. I got no problem saying 20K. But yeah, if I can come to your school and I can make it happen for $5,000, cool, I'll try and do it. But the thing is like, yo, I gotta fly there. I gotta get in a hotel. I gotta leave my kid. I gotta leave my wife. I gotta think about, do I want to even put that number out there? Because then you start making the number that you put out.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Like if for the longest time for schools, when I didn't know what I was doing, I was like, $750. You know what I'm saying? Like when I started off,
especially if you flying and your
yeah, well, no, that was when it was like flying included and stuff. But I was wondering why I was getting booked so easy. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, I was talking to contemporaries, you know what I'm saying, and people that are doing this stuff, and they're like people that are entertainers, going to colleges. And I was like talking to other MCs, and they're like, yo, like talking about how much they got. And I remember back when I was first starting doing this, the first person I met who made $3,500 when I was making $700. Right? I was like, yo, this person making 5 times more than me, and they were awful. You know what I'm saying? I was like, how did you get $3,500 to rock at this college show? And then I realized that was nothing later on. You know what I'm saying? But $3,500, if you make that a week, you're pretty happy, right? At your job, you're getting $3,500 a week. You're making mid-100,000s, right?
Yeah,
you're doing, that's a really good job. But this is different. This is a one-time appearance. You're coming to do something. It needs to be higher than that, and we need to feel okay charging what we're worth. But that's different to feel like you're screwing someone and be like, I'm never going to say, yo, I'm going to come for $20,000. I'm going to tell you the secret of the industry. It's like, come on, bro. I don't got the secret. I just got the basic formula,
Right. Right. Absolutely. No, I feel you, man, wholeheartedly on that, bro. And it is good though to just make the right approach to what's up, Toy. That's my homie too, man.
I saw the T dot V dot, man.
Yeah,
That's
my guy. That's my guy.
That's your peoples.
That's my peeps right there. Him, myself, JB. We all go way back. But it's important, man, to be able to create the kind of aspect for yourself when it comes to yourself as, I mean, however you want to present yourself to the society, you know, an entrepreneur or, you know, an MC, artist, you know, whatever it is that you do, you definitely got to consider all of those things when you putting out your prices and stuff like that. And it don't really hurt, man. And I'm gonna tell you, man, I had a proud moment, man. One of my proteges, an individual, she worked under me for a few years at my last gig. And, you know, she will always absorb everything that I taught her. You know, I was always intentional about investing into the people that reported to me or anybody in general. You know, if there was something that I could give you that was a resource, and my claim has always been, everything that I ever say to you will always be for you, not for me. And I'm going to tell you, there's a benefit that if you do your job right, it obviously makes my job easier. But I want to give you the kind of information and tools that you can take to another job and be great at it too. And so that was always my approach, man. And this young lady has doubled her income overnight because of the things that I taught her.
See, that's key. What you're talking about there too is like very similarly in the entertainment business, and especially in the edutainment business, which is what I straddle. I'm always saying, like, I'm trying to come in one shot so that you like don't need me to come like again. And sometimes people will hire you again. You know, like, look, my perfect scenario would be the stuff that I give you today really helps you and makes it feel like that you're in a way, like, whether it's to understand hip hop or either just, you know, you just, even if it's just a straight show, if I'm just doing a regular show, I'm like, yo, I'm not trying to, I know the probability is slim in a lot of cases that a college is going to hire you multiple times. Sometimes they do, and that's great. But usually it's like one shot. Then they got a long list of people they're trying to get in there, right? And I'm like, yo, but if I'm going to come, I want it to be like super valuable for you. I want to say some words of wisdom that hit you. You're going to be like, bam, that dude was, that was some value added. You know what I mean? And now that got me motivated to do something else. And maybe those individuals hit you up after. And so be it if the place hits you again. It's not like I'm going to say, no, I'm not coming. But if I'm doing something even more towards PD, like what you're talking about, training and stuff, you said you want them to be excellent wherever they go. And that's the same thing with me when I'm doing professional development. It's like faculty development. It's like, yo, I want you to like not need me to do this again. If I teach you right, you're going to figure it out, like, and be like, oh, that's all there is to it. Great. Now I'm good. You know, it's to teach a man to fish kind of thing, you know? Yeah.
No, I rock with that, bro. I rock with that, man. Personal development, man, for people who just, I really wholeheartedly, man, just give people the tools and the resources they need to be the best version of themselves, man. And like,
and don't tell them that you're going to guarantee them that they're going to make $1 million.
Because you know, even in my music, is always like that level of transparency. Like, I know what it took for me to get here. It may be easier for you. You know, it may be harder. I can't tell you that. Maybe. I'm just going to tell you what I did and how I did it. And I'm going to tell you, I'm also going to tell you some of the bad choices that I made and some of the mistakes that I made, the things that I would have done differently.
All two of them.
You know, it may not have been a bad choice. It may not have been a mistake, but it just may not have been the right choice. And there's a difference. Like, you can choose between two good decisions and one be better than the other one. And so I try to just full disclaimer, like, listen, there's variables into this. I don't know your circumstance, your situation. I usually don't get into people's personal life when it comes to, you know, people that I engage in personal development with. So I can't really tell you how that works. But I can tell you what you may need to do if you want to be successful. There are some sacrifices you're going to have to make. There are some hard decisions you're going to have to make. There's some people you're going to have to upset. Some friends, and like that's just that's inevitable, right? Because somebody's gonna expect you to be here, and in order for you to get there, you're gonna have to be over there. Like, it's gonna happen. Family, like you said, family, friends, and so you just got to figure out at the end of the day, too, what's most important to you. If success is most important to you, then you have to decide that, man, it might not be best for you to start no family because your family's gonna miss you. If that's your drive, your goal is to be popular and to be famous, you might not want a family. I'm a little more family oriented.
That's big words right there.
And so,
for a man of a pretty big family,
right? So for me, I'm a lot more family oriented. So for me, I make my decisions based around their value. Like I don't want to do anything that's gonna take me away from my family completely.
Mm-hmm.
You know, my family understands there are gonna be some times where I might not be available. I may have to go out of town or nothing like that. But I still want the majority of my time to be with my family, whatever it is. So I make the sacrifice now that if I get opportunity, if it goes against my principle, then I'm just gonna have to say no, because that's what's most important to me. We're different in those ways. And somebody else may be like, look, man, I don't care about none of that. I just want to grind. I just want to be successful. I want to be Kanye. I want to have my family in California. And I want to be sleeping in the hotel in Paris for a week.
I want my kids on TikTok, even when I don't know they're going to be on TikTok like Kanye.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, so we are different. And so I would always say, number one, find out what's most important to you. And to me, that's the vehicle that you get in as far as how you make your decisions from there.
Hey, it's 10 o'clock. I want to give the people a little sneak peek of Yo, That's Pro. I got to plug my own stuff coming up. Put it up there. There's the pre-save link. I put it in the comments. This little sneak peek coming out March 18th on our label, Freedom Corner Brand. Shout out to LD. Shout out to Fly. Shout out to Jay Johnson on the beat. Here we go. Here's a little bit of that Yo, That's Pro coming out the 18th. March.
Yeah, it's Pro. And that's short for Professor Lyrical. Used to just go by lyrical till I became a professor, but now I really embrace the pro. You know what I mean? I feel like I become a professional, you know? So that's what I'm trying to do. Yeah, peace. Pro, check it out. It's hard to believe that now I wear my heart on my sleeve. Used to wear a sleeve over my heart. That was my starting point, guarded, shielded, concealing how I'm feeling. Thinking to keeping it hard meant not being revealing. But I really never felt hard inside my heart. I love people. I never want to tear them apart, but some kids are mean even before they turn teens. Made me want to stick to myself and stick to my team. A small circle was never really one for the fanfare till I made my first fan. Now I understand real clear. I feel the pain of others sincere and vividly, so I don't have to live it to know and show them some empathy. So now I empty these Mont Blancs repeatedly and feel a sense of pride when they say my rhymes repeating me. The way they treating me, I feel like a pro. Y'all show me love on the rag, thanks for letting me know, yo. Now everywhere I go, they like, yo, that's a pro. See me at a show, they like, yo, that's pro. Everywhere I go, they like, yo, that's a pro. Moment about the flow, like, yo, that's pro. Now everywhere I go, they like, yo, that's a pro. See me at a show, they like, yo, that's pro. Everywhere I go, they like, yo, that's a pro. Moment about the flow, like, yo, that's pro.
Hey, pro. Hey, pro.
You wow, bro.
That was definitely me doing my own dubs there. That's for sure. My own ad libs. They were like, "Yo, who's that girl in the background? How come you didn't give any credit?" Hey, pro.
It's all pro.
You mean her? Hey, pro. Yo, that's pro right there, man.
You great. You wow, man.
I'm looking for that voiceover work, man. I'm looking for that voiceover work. I'm not trying to take a course. I'm not trying to do any of that stuff. You get the voiceover work, you hit me up direct, and I'll see what I can do.
The man of many talents, man. You do voiceovers, you do spoken word.
Hi-ho. Yeah, man. Anything vocal, man. Anything.
Absolutely.
I sing a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Just a very little bit.
Poquito.
Un poquito.
But yeah, bro, it's important, man, that you know, people, the world need more people like you, man. We really got to push the agenda of, you know, helping people, promoting people, and it is the general well-being, you know, or the best version of people, you know, just helping people accomplish that. And at the end of the day, we were talking a little bit about, you know, that ingenuity that it takes to just kind of get our society. You know, we kind of talk about that blend between like communism and capitalism and how our society would be a lot better, man, if people were less self-centered and just more about just the right decision. You know what I'm saying?
It's too bright. It says, "Hey, pro." No, hey, pro. Wanted to let you know there's a spot in the spring league. This is for the basketball league out here, man. I've been inquiring about playing on this men's team, man. So I'm like, all right, they got a spot for me.
Yeah, gotta get out there, bro. So how was the games last week? Did everybody get to play?
Hold up one second. I gotta answer this question with D-Roo. D-Roo, what does your production and who does your production and beat making? Well, we were talking about Legendary earlier. So Legendary did a few of the tracks. on my album. He's done a bunch for Fly as well. And but that one you just heard was Jay Johnson. Shout out to Quo of the ProQuo Show. Quo put together a whole bunch of talented producers, and Jay was one of them who we didn't really get to involve heavily in the first album. So we kind of promised some people with like, if you're in this IB hood, Instant Brotherhood, which is the name of our album, if you're one of those, 14 producers, so 15, they're in that circle, we're going to get some work. Even a few of them weren't pictured there, and Jay was one of those people, and he does real quality stuff. So that's Jay. A lot of the cats there's probably like 5 or 6 beats I'm working on right now that are with some of the cats from Instant Brotherhood from overseas. A lot of them from the Netherlands and Amsterdam. Shout out to Larcy Vegas, who
I gotta get up with Larcy, bro. I got to get up with Larcy.
And shout out to JT, man. JT, 15-year-old JT. JT and I are doing a track together, using one of JT's beats. He was on the show. And again, shout out to Quo, because he was like pushing me to work with JT. But not till I met his dad was I comfortable with doing that. But he's the man. My man Robbie Rowland is working on engineering that joint right now. We did like a draft of it, and is nice, but we want to work on it. So a lot of people, man, and I got an inbox. I know it's probably the same for Fly. I got an inbox of producers always sending me stuff just around the clock, constantly. Jay kind of took that and organized it, Quo, and he was like, "Hey, let me take these sub people that are always sending me stuff, and kind of focus on them and try to bring them together as like a fam in a little collective." So that's kind of it, but. As rappers, man, we get, especially if you put stuff out, we're just like bombarded with beats all the time. And, for me, Fly, I don't know about you. For me, that didn't happen at the beginning of COVID. And I was kind of stuck at the very, very beginning of COVID.
Yeah.
Because it was like, I was like, oh, let me use some of these like beats from these people. I don't even know who they are. And like, just like reach out. And it's about the same time Quo was hitting me up. It was kind of a stagnant time because the world kind of stopped,
Yeah. Yeah, I actually ended up doing an album like that because of that same reason. I ended up doing an album with a bunch of producers that I had never
kind of knew,
right? Or really didn't know, really, honestly, and because of that same reason. And then so now, of course, just more intentional about working with the people that are that I know and I rock with, and especially because. Now there is a reach or a network of producers that kind of have a different style a little bit. And that's kind of important too for variety a little bit. You don't want to get stuck in a rut of the same sound and patterns and stuff like that. So it is good to get stuff, man. But I get beats, bro, at least 8 to 12 new beats probably coming to me on average probably every week.
Yeah, that's kind of about right. And I have like scores of former students who send me their beats all the time, and I'm always trying to make something work, but it's not always possible. Hey, to answer your question, D-Roo, a little bit on can you post them? I'm going to post this for you for a second here. This might help. So on our album, which you may or may not have heard, I don't remember if you heard it. I know you were checking out some of the stuff. This is the picture I'm talking about. And if you look up there, right, that's Orchard, orchard.co/Instant Brotherhood. Or if you just go to my website, I got this stuff all over the website, especially if you go to the ProQuo page. But whichever one of these, you can scroll through these, whichever one of these you play on, right? Like they do the auto-generated songs, so you can hear everything. And most of it, if you click into the metadata, you can see like who's doing what on a lot of them. I don't know how much there is on the data not too much on this one, but even there was shouting out. I mean, that's Larcy Vegas, you know what I mean? And I can get you the info to all those people, but you see their pictures there. The names are right there in that circle. That's kind of sort of the hint. So you got a Mechanic is DJ Mech going all around. You got M. D Right Way. Preet Rosso was like a crew out of Amsterdam. Genesis 7, LP2, Larcy Vegas, Legendary. There's Legendary. So that's me and Quo. So we're trying to shout them out as much as we can, but you can hit me up more, man. I know my contacts and all that stuff. I'll hit you up with more info if you're trying to get in touch with anyone, because I know you do your stuff. Do you got in a vinyl pressing? No, currently right now there's no like in-house vinyl or anything like that. If we're doing vinyl, just kind of like a lot of artists, there's companies that you can make deals with, especially if you got like a little bit of distribution or whatever, that they'll make it kind of very affordable for you. In some cases they'll pay for it, depending on what the business deal is you want to do. But no, we don't have any kind of in-house. The vinyl on my wall is just from previous deals and stuff like that. So good questions. I think this is.
I'll reach out to D-Root too, bro. What's up, cuz?
There you go.
Jigs, what's up, cousin? That's the family from Chicago checking in.
D-Roo is like a renaissance man, by the way. D-Roo doesn't just make beats. D-Roo's like a mad inventor. Like I'm not doing it justice, man, but he's a tinkerer, man. He's got all kinds of stuff going on. Shout out to I met D-Roo through my wife, so shout out to D-Roo. Thanks to my wife for putting me on to you, because you were definitely the man. We got to get you on here. I told you that before, D-Roo. We got to get you up on here, so we'll get you up on here soon enough. But yeah, man. So that's the background on that. Yo, and back to the Tom Brady thing for a second. So I wanted to say this. Think about this. I always try to make this argument. That's how much he made. What did Kraft make? You know what I'm saying?
10 times that, bro. Easy. Because he didn't take any pay cuts. Kraft didn't take any pay cuts.
No pay cuts. He took the only blow he took was at the massage parlor. No, the literally and figuratively on that. But he's always happy.
Always, bro. Like, he was happy when Brady was taking those pay cuts, bro, because he didn't have to go over the cap.
I think of Tom like a family.
I would too if you made me billions of dollars, bro. I'd do whatever you ask me to do.
Let's check him out. I'm just gonna do a little search here. Kraft net worth. Robert Kraft net worth 2021. Let's go. What do we got? 8.3 billion.
Yeah, I was thinking
8.3 billion.
I was thinking 8 to 12 somewhere in there.
8.3 billion. I mean, you can live off that, right? You can live off that.
Easy. He can live off
put it in perspective.
A 100th of that and be fine.
Let's put it in perspective. 300 million Tom Brady's made over all those years and has been battered and bruised to make that money. Kraft has never played it down. Granted, he made the investments, right? But he's made 8 billion. Now, one more time now for everyone playing along at home. Let's just take Tom Brady's rough 300 million, round it up to 333 million, because we know he's made more than that off season, right? Off the field. Let's just put up the 333 million, multiply it by 3. Now we're up to 1 billion. Right. So 3 times as much as he's made, right? Times 8, because you got to get up to 8 billion. So Kraft is roughly worth what, 24 times more?
Yeah, bro.
Tom Brady. Now I know there's other things that can contribute to both of them, and that's not all Tom Brady's wealth. That's just football, and Kraft. We're talking about all his wealth or whatever. But you see the inequity, right? Generally, it's like you're talking billions.
It's the machine, bro. It's the machine, bro, and we're all in it. I don't care what nobody say. You meet these colonial people or these Renaissance people that's so pro or anti-system, and then they got a cell phone or they pay taxes, and it's like, bro, we all in the system, man. So I just don't like when people try to badger other people who decide to, be working class. Like, if that's not what you do, but people who go on these rants about, y'all slaves to the system, and like, bro, you paperizing a bill every month. Like, we're all in the system some way, shape, form, or fashion. It's just like, do what you're gonna do. Maybe even educate or inform people on how to make changes or transitions. But the judging, man, is too much. It's overwhelming.
I used to save all of the. I think some of the listeners and viewers might find this information interesting. So to your point, I used to save this info. When I first started teaching college, I really got kind of obsessed with ownership, right? In terms of like what the owners were making. And I was always rapping about it. And I was always I taught sports and entertainment quite a lot for shout out to Bay State College. So I'm going to show you my drive in Google. That's my private drive here. So I'm making it a little dicey. All right. So, so look at News Corporation. Do y'all know who News Corporation is? Probably not, right? But once you read it, you will. Molded under the watchful eye of Rupert Murdoch, News Corp, that's Fox, right? Continues to evolve, serve as a model for the modern vertically integrated media conglomerate, blah, blah, blah. So this is telling you the whole history of Rupert Murdoch, rise to power of Fox, right? The Fox network broke ground in the late 80s as the first successful broadcast network to break through against the powerful big three. Recently, and by the way, I posted this thing like almost 10 years ago, viewership for its Fox News network surpassed the once formidable CNN. This proved to be another sign that American viewers favor News Corp's irreverent style. Right. So these are I got most of this off Wiki. I was just following timelines, and I just decided to cut and paste this and steal all this stuff. And when you start to do the math, right, of like what Fox Broadcasting Company owns for the television stations, right? This I know this is dated, but you get the general idea, right? When you start looking into the other names of things they own, I highlighted a lot of these too because Fox 20th Century Fox is the same company, right? When you think about it, they're just offshoots and spinoffs of the same company. And as I often say, it's not like the board of directors, just because there's different people, that they're not co-mingling with each other, and sometimes are the same people, right? So you go through here, this is just by generation to generation, right? 80s, 90s. And I do this for music as well with a lot of the big 3 or 4 music companies. Like, look, like there's Daredevil. Like, I love Daredevil, right? In conjunction with Marvel. To Fly's point, they're all in bed with each other. It's Regency, Marvel, Daredevil, DreamWorks. Look at all the companies that are in there. So it's not like it's just, it's just like you can just dump on one company, right? It's like they all have interspersed ties with each other. TV shows, right? MASH, Lost in Space. I mean, you're talking some of the biggest names of pop culture ever, right, under one company. And Rupert Murdoch is the guy who started Fox, and now we pay a lot of attention to Fox News, right? And how Fox News has come to power. That's just one company, and you can do this for every company. And as I always hear the conspiracy theorists love to say, you can connect the dots, and so like you go, who's running the show? This is my document I made on this, right? Here are all the big companies. There's News, Time Warner, Viacom, Sony, Comcast, and Universal is NBC. I'm always talking about it. Clear Channel and Live Nation. That's the spinoff of Clear Channel, right? Every time you see a billboard in the country, you're looking at a Live Nation Clear Channel billboard sign. It's every time you're listening to a radio station. Well, now we talk about iHeartRadio and so forth too, as the spinoff of the spinoff. Disney, ABC, ESPN. But I've made each one of these clickable links that you can go into and find everything about those kind of companies, right? And so all the different mergers that most people aren't paying attention to or haven't been paying attention to, right? Yeah, at all. Like not even watching. I keep my little tabs on there, and like this is where I just originally used to keep my documents on this stuff. Now I've moved on to, files and files of documents that I've collected off of the internet just to kind of have a rough idea of what's going on.
So I know you got the Viacom, CBS, that whole mega
conglomerate. Yeah, I got individuals on each one. I've kept them on each one. And just the thing that's amazing to think about, this used to be Bertelsmann, Viacom. Bertelsmann was the international wing. You look at the companies of which you're not taught to know the word Viacom, right? But when you think that but you are taught to know BET and their individual, brands, right? MTV, BET, Nick at Night, Nickelodeon. We don't think that, right? VH1. It's all the same company. Paramount, MTV Films, and then Sumner Redstone, who's just another Rupert Murdoch. He's just the Massachusetts version. Just goes on and on and on. You can read about him. You can do this in your spare time, but the thing is that we're trained to look at Tom Brady. You know what I'm saying? Because Tom Brady's out there with the one with the trophies and the nice smile. But we're never looking at the people behind the scenes, really, that actually own everything and just how expansive it is. And this is what kills me. And I hate to, bash on people, whatever. But when people are like, yo, the Illuminati or the conspiracy, it's all right there. It's public information. You can go grab this stuff. They don't need to be an Illuminati or a conspiracy. The conspiracy's real. Like, it's like the conspiracy it's out in the open, bro. There's no need for a conspiracy.
Right. It's not a secret that there's all out there. But I kind of have like, a love-hate for, the way our society works. Of course, you can't be mad at a person.
Thanks, Dr. Mina.
You can't be mad at a person that builds a brand, decide that it's more advantageous or financially profitable for them to not have to manage their business and make more money than they ever have by selling their business. And the reason why a large majority of brands, but not know the one brand that's behind, the big brands, because it's just happening through acquisitions. If I do media,
absolutely,
and I'm a giant in media, and I used to see Viacom in the 90s. I used to see Viacom in the 90s on often, but then you see Viacom less because at the time progressed, Viacom started to acquire other brands. And so those people that started those brands as independent people, the entrepreneurs, and just like, I don't have to work. I can sell my company for 100 times what it was for me to start this company, man, and let somebody else do it. And so The bad part about it is just like, especially as musicians, and kind of bring it full circle, man, is that you really have just this couple handful, if you really go far enough up the chain, just a couple or 3 or 4 people that's controlling the entire industry when it comes to entertainment. And it's I hate that.
Or strongly influenced.
You know, like strong, especially when it comes to like
strongly
Sony.
Influenced. Yeah.
And the
hey,
person at the top,
we know something about Sony,
bro. It's crazy.
We are way down the ladder on the about as far down the ladder on the Sony chain as you can possibly.
Way down, bro. When you think about
like,
Sony
can I get
globally,
on the ladder?
Right. Sony globally, man, and what all they control when it comes to just entertainment as a whole, not just music, but television and equipment and just all the stuff you see Sony's name on. It's tough, man.
So this is it's funny. We should hit on this topic, right? Check this out. To indulge me for a moment too, as well. I'm gonna share one more thing here. I'm actually gonna share it from my own site. I'm gonna go to my own site, which is weird that I never go to my own site on my own show. But hey, let's go to every other site.
I got to get better about that too, bro. I got a whole website, and I always end up sending people to my social. And I just,
as does our label, which we never go. So this is my site, and I should know it better than I do. I got the videos all moving. It's kind of like all kind of wild. What I'm looking for here is, it's under Listen to Pro. So yes, right here, right. So this is the college project, and so we made the college project in 2008, 2009. Shout out to Robbie Rowland, who's engineering one of my joints as we speak. Former student of mine I had in 2006. So if it wasn't for Robbie, I wouldn't have been able to do a lot of the stuff that I've been able to do. But this particular song here, Master Your Trade, right? I'm gonna see if we can play that. So this is 2009. And what we did was we put every student that I had at 4 different colleges into this project, because Robbie was like, yo, like there's a lot of people want to do collabs with you. I was like, nah, I can't do it, especially not students, whatever. And he was like, let me organize it. Maybe we could, make a couple songs. And so little by little, I was like, okay, let's actually make a whole album. So Robbie was the engineer of this, and this landed Robbie his studio, which he now runs. And to me, for my money, he's the best engineer in Massachusetts. So this is way back when. I hope this plays for y'all. Let me know if this is playing. But it's actually this. Yeah, let's go with Master Your Trade. All right. So I touch on it in here. All right, here we go.
When he ain't never seen the streets and ladies she don't know. Come on. We play your
Oops. I should have opened it in Spotify.
It was definitely playing though.
Yeah. Where did we go here? Try it again. Sound okay?
I don't hear it now. I heard it the first time. I heard it the first time you did, but I don't hear it now.
All right, one more sec here. We gotta go. We're going really we're going really live here. We're going way out of pocket. Let's try it this way. It's not happy with me is what it is. Because when you share sound to share sound to share sound, at some point it's like, pro, you got to settle down. Let's stop sharing. Let's do it one more time. We're going to do it. We're going to make it work. Here we go. Tell me yay or nay this time, all right? Good?
Nay.
You hear it?
Nay.
What?
No,
what?
I don't hear it, bro.
You kidding me?
No.
That's crazy.
Well, however you were playing it the first time, it came right on. I cannot.
Yeah, but it only wanted to play a sample. Anyways, man. Well, that's crazy. See, that's why I avoid Spotify. That's why I avoid Spotify when I'm playing stuff.
Bro, I probably have used Spotify least than any other person you probably know. I just never could get into Spotify, bro.
No, it's just interesting that it doesn't want to share Spotify, but I could play that in a different way. But anyways, we talk about the whole entire concept of that. We go through that, and we made that like a lesson. We literally, like, I
Yeah.
had students looking up like all the different companies, and we, we kind of went with the big three. We went with at the time we were looking at Clear Channel. We were talking about Live Nation and Clear Channel, and then we were talking about Disney, ABC. And it wasn't like to bash the companies. It was just to have an awareness and to say, why is it that we don't notice the spin-off companies, right? The acquisitions and the mergers, and we're
Right.
just like, oh, that's boring, but yet we notice the big marquee face, and then we don't follow the trail of, where that actual money is. And think about, those could be industries that students could have for jobs, right? Those could be
Absolutely.
that young people could have, but we're just, like, who's Bertelsmann? Who's Vivendi? These are names that you're not used to hearing. You're only used to hearing CBS, let alone Viacom, which to a lot of people isn't even a very popular name unless I don't think I even heard of them until I was like in my 20s, and be like, oh, they just emerge. And then you start, realizing how business is done and the acquisitions and mergers. And for me, it blew my mind with Clear Channel, because they were telling you in their name, they were like, we want a Clear Channel signal of radio stations anywhere you are in the country.
How else can
You
you
will be
do
able to
that?
hear us. And they did. That was their business plan. And
Right.
that's literally what they did. And they got so big that they sold off their television stations. They own television stations too in every major market. And they were like, oh, let's just focus on radio. And then, hey, you know what? Billboards make a lot of sense. And then, hey, these radio stations and these billboards, well, it'd be nice if we had a sort of concert and promotion wing, right? To kind
Right.
of, and I'm
To tie in
oversimplifying
with
this,
your
of course.
radio aspect of it. It was all ingenious, man.
Right. And so you got to tell young kids and say, look, when you think you're going to get on to iHeartRadio or whatever, you have to understand that the billboard, the venue, and I was promoting shows, so I knew the venues were controlled by Live Nation and Clear Channel, right? And so the only nights you could get were the blacked out nights, which was the nights that they didn't want because, either the college kids weren't around or it wasn't a club night. You could get like a Monday or something at 9:00, and same with the radio station. You could get played on a Sunday night, right? At like 11:00 when no one's listening on that dead air. And they got the artists running around thinking like, yo, I'm a somebody because my, Jammin's playing my joint in Boston is jamming, Jammin's playing my joint. And shout out to the DJs who did give that time. And it meant a lot to us as artists to have our records played, right?
Right.
And it still is a big deal. Like, don't get me wrong. But that doesn't mean that your song is now gonna, catapult you into headlining at the Garden. You know what I'm saying? It's like the Garden is a Clear Channel venue. The radio station is Live Nation, which is the artists that are playing in the building are on 360 deals with the Live Nation, wing as
Right.
well. And when Rock Nation does a 360 deal, that's a Rock Nation merger with Clear Channel. But you ask the average kid who's Clear Channel, they're like, who? Okay, so they own the stations, they own the billboards to promote the shows, they own the radio, they own the building. And there's a lot of details there that we're oversimplifying. It's not they one-to-one at every single one of those companies or whatever, until someone forces you to break up those monopolies. But who wants to read about, antitrust monopoly violations and so forth? That's kind of boring, but that's where that Robert Kraft money is, so.
That's where it is, bro. And that's exactly right. But it's good to really be able to describe those things because sometimes, we may have opportunities to expand or to grow and not really know, the game itself too. And so the opportunities will come and you just have to be sharp, man. These people are really taking advantage of, it was clear what they wanted to accomplish in the sense of Clear Channel. How is it you're going to dominate the radio market unless somehow, some way you're connected with every radio in the country?
Absolutely.
And
yeah.
it was
and it's like at the end of the day, it's like I'm not trying to say that I'm not like you said, we're in the system. It's like we have to be capitalist by nature, right?
Yeah.
It's hard to be, a socialist. It's hard to be whatever it is that you want to be. It's like we may say, hey, this is the flaw with the system. Let's try to. That's what you can do. You can try to educate people about how the rules work, so that you can create a movement to have maybe another generation or another group of people say, hey, I want to make a change with this. But you can't make a change unless you can see it. You have to know what it is what powers are at work.
Exactly.
It's true in any industry. It's true in every industry. Whatever you want to be, if you don't understand how it's operating behind the scenes, then you actually have no chance because it's invisible,
Absolutely.
So
That's the truth, bro. That's as always, man. It's a good game, man, for the people, man.
Absolutely.
This is ProQuo Show is really an institution, man.
An institution? That could be good or bad, man. What do you mean by institution?
It's the institution, man. This is the place where you can come and get a wealth of knowledge and information. This is more than just a live stream, bro. It's an institution, man. And you really don't know what you're gonna get when you come. Like, this is great.
What was that? What was that movie? Was that Tom Hanks and the Life's Like a Box of Chocolates? You never
Yes,
know what
you
you're
never
gonna
know
get.
what you're
Right,
gonna
right.
get, man. It's just you're gonna get a valuable set of information when you tune in to the ProQuo Show, and it's guaranteed to be something discussed on the ProQuo Show that can definitely enhance your life.
Wow. Well, that's I think you're biased, but I appreciate you
Bro,
putting it out there in the ether.
undoubtedly, bro. How could you
I
just
think you're biased.
imagine the wealth of information, man, and the stuff that we talk about? I guarantee you, there's a large group of people that have never heard of any of this stuff and can realize, like, well, you know what? I could move around this and I could do that. And you might plan things a little differently once, like you said, once you know what's going on. It kind of dictates your moves a little bit more. For me personally, I was just talking to my wife about this the other day. I figured out how to navigate the industry that I'm in. Like, I already know how to get a $20,000 bump. I know exactly how to do it, and I know exactly what to do and how long it's gonna take. And
I unfortunately think I know the rules to your industry too.
you
And,
know
you're
what I'm
talking
saying?
on
And
yeah.
once you figure it out, because and it's the thing, and that's why information is so powerful, because it has to work this way, because it's how they made it. It's how they made it to become
Rules to the
successful,
game.
right? It's their rules. And so once you learn it, and this is why it's important to know, to get the information, like you said, it can't be invisible to you because you got to learn how to play the game.
I have to and thanks, Tree. ProQuo is dope. Appreciate that. I hate to lose our Saturday morning listeners who check out the show faithfully. Our people who check this out while they clean the house or do whatever. But yes, I'm gonna read from Professor Lyrical, put them all to shame. My copy. So I have the written version of that. So this is the crazy part, right? This is the crazy part, and again, that's why I call it the curriculum, because it's kind of like to Fly's point. This is not conspiracy. This is not evil, and this is not hidden. All right. And so what I'm referring to is this: the financial complexities of the music industry are compounded for the rap artists due to various factors. The concentration of media ownership makes it increasingly difficult for artists to recognize rappers are among the worst paid of all entertainers across genres. The lifestyle of the rapper is purported to be one of excess and luxury. The public often believes rap videos are reality and not label posturing or exaggerated fantasy. Compound this with urban culture's fascination with material displays of wealth, and up and coming rappers are doomed maintaining lifestyles they're poorly equipped to maintain. Kids are always shocked when they find out the media and recording industry is essentially one and the same. They both work much like a cartel. They bar entry to all the little guys who would otherwise attempt to gain access. Today, the lines between GE, Universal, Comcast, and NBC are just like the ones I placed between their names. I placed little slashes. Very thin. These companies are basically all the same. Sure, someone out there may critique my assessment that they're all the same because at any given time the ownership is technically different, or the constantly government mandated realignments between them may have forced some technical change in ownership or legal name. But these organizations are all working to earn our dollars in either legal partnerships with one another or in a corporate ownership structure that makes them hard to distinguish from one another, especially when some antitrust law is required to force them apart. And that's where I say this is not conspiracy. This is not evil. This is all basically out there in the open. And it's like, it's kind of our job to maybe think about that and think, to do a little bit of investigating and figure out, hey man, well, like what's going on? Like, how does this work? I was going to put on like a background. I should be putting on like background like this. Check it out. Watch this. I'm getting used to the new buttons here. Hey, look. Speaking of which. Oh, no, it's not popping up. Oh, well. Anyways, I'm not going to do it. This is not conspiracy. This is not evil. And this is not hidden. This is all out in the open. These are the current rules of the game. But what has happened is there's so much entertainment and reality now instantaneously available that we're way too busy to pay attention to something not quite as amusing as many of the poor souls who masquerade as stars on short-run cash cow reality shows, as I discussed in Obvious. So I'm talking about the song Obvious on the album. Hop on the website of GE to see what they own and how they make a substantial amount of their billions. Now, I wrote this in 2013. It came out in 2013, 2014. Hop on the website of GE to see what they own and how they make a substantial amount of their billions and how they plan to in the future, and you may be surprised. The electric light bulb and the electric locomotive were both products by GE's essential founder, Thomas Edison. The large sum of money GE makes from its capital and financing operations is staggering. Some have no idea that GE is also a huge supplier of military engines and continues to look to profit from heavy investment in fracking. Additionally, GE intends to capture some of the massive potential market generated by analysis of sensor data in combination with what it already pulls in from using analytics to optimize performance through automation and predictive technologies, helping to determine if a component has the potential to fail. GE's investment into what it calls the industrial internet relies on IT vendors such as Google and Facebook to build and harvest the consumer data pool. So I go on and I get into the fact that I say it right here, I say Disney is ABC. Clear Channel is a breath away from being the same entity as Live Nation. Viacom is basically CBS in a confusing and difficult to follow Sumner Redstone concoction. Viacom is MTV, BET, Nickelodeon, Paramount. I'm sharing with you what I've done the digging on, right? Paramount and many other television and media entities. When these companies are forced to dissolve or separate due to antitrust laws, does anyone really think the players in the partnership that have brought them together simply stop attempting to make money together? Of course not. It's the opposite. These corporate leaders think even harder and more cleverly about how to make the laws work in their interests. We saw a little of that in the last presidency. And if they fail, they change leadership and try again. Corporate consolidation is a tendency which, without artificial regulation, will occur as a singularity till the company runs everything worth owning. Clear Channel owns nearly every radio station in the country it deems worthy of its ownership, in addition to every billboard prominently displayed in the markets it desires to function within. When your local pop, hip-hop, or CHR radio station plays a song from an artist, most likely that same artist will perform in a Live Nation-managed venue in the same market with a nearby Clear Channel billboard promoting the artist's music. The artist is often signed to one of the other big three labels out there, which all do business through each other's competitor channels. All right, I'm going to wrap it up here. Though they certainly compete, their consolidation ensures an extremely difficult path of entry for a would-be newcomer with some money. The billboard advertising of Clear Channel will reflect the promotion of the artist that the Clear Nation machine has declared most currently in need of publicity. How long will it be till there are only two major labels that distribute everything? The only scenario I can see where this near inevitability could fail to become actualized is if in the near future the model changes for what we currently call distribution, which seems likely. Then again, perhaps music will be so easy to release or to be heard that someday soon labels will be absolutely not needed. What? Has that not come true?
Prophecy.
That was 2013, bro.
It's the prophecy, bro. Music is easier than ever to release.
Yep. It's I mean, there's literally almost no need except for the digital distribution. And look what we're doing, right? Distribution with Sony Orchard digitally. You know, it's all you need is that piece. Sorry to bore y'all with the reading, but man, that's what
they do, bro. And they still find a way to get their hands in that, right? To get money off of that, and they probably still controlling Spotify's and all those other people. You know, finding ways to corner the markets where they still get the bulk of like these labels, man. Still, they're getting the checks when it comes to the streams from the artists. The labels, the ones getting the check, and that black box that our good friends over at Family and Friends Entertainment and all that talks about. Shout out to seeing
that black box of money that never gets sent out to the artist.
I know back to the label, ends up going back to the label. It's just all they still find a way to get their hands into the bread, like the big tobacco companies. They find a way to invest in nicotine patches and nicotine gums. They're behind those too, and it's just like what it's the game, bro. You just got to learn how to play the game. We're all in it, so you might as well just figure out what you can get out of it. And absolutely. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like Epi said, do not pass go, man. Monopoly, man. Stop the monopoly.
It's definitely a monopoly, bro. Like you talking about the antitrust, man. We instituted these laws, I don't know how many decades ago, but they just find a way around it.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's literally what we're talking about in those songs, and you know, a couple of others in the album. And just kind of talking about and put it out there. And again, man, you know, you go, I was an economics major as an undergraduate, as business major, marketing and economics. And so, you know, we're talking about these things all the time. And I remember it blowing my mind sitting in the first classes, starting to figure out how even international trade theory worked, how arbitrage worked, how you could buy on margin and hope for downfalls of certain companies and make millions upon millions by hoping for the downfall and predicting a stock, right? And like, I'm not like some big time stock guy. I mean, I invest or whatever, but not like, you know, crazy heavy or whatever. But the point being is that so many of the things that we're not trained to look into are the things that are making the real money. But we're paying attention to the flashy
And
objects.
that
You know what I'm
crazy
saying?
though, bro. Especially
Yeah.
with margins, man. I can borrow money from you basically essentially today, saying that when I pay you back, this company will not be worth it, and
Hopefully it
you know,
goes down, right?
like,
Yeah,
just,
man.
and
Yeah.
it does.
And
So
these
it's
are
like,
not deep concepts. These are like, yo, but until someone turns you on to that, like those were kind of things you would do on a street level, you know? And it was like, when I heard that in college, I was like, yo, you can do that too in business world. Like you can pray for the downfall of the company you're investing in. Like, oh, yeah, this is very similar to paying back, the bookies. You know what I'm saying?
exactly.
Like bookies that you know. Again, I grew up thinking my grandfather's bookie was my uncle. That's another story. I was, yeah, D Brew, man.
Yeah, girl.
Shout out to you.
Pops must have been heavily in something if the bookie
Oh
was
man,
around that much,
you
man.
don't even know. Yeah, you don't even know. Shout out to Papu. My Greek side was I shouldn't say was. The Greek side is a little heavily on the gambling side. Let's
Yeah.
just say that. But I grew up not wanting to gamble, watching him lose his money. You know what I'm saying? And like
Yeah.
watching all these illegal backdoor. They call them babuts in Greek. It's the coffee shop where it's always the card games going on. It's just like, yeah, it was mafioso, but but at the same time, it's an education in like what not to
What
do.
not to
You know what
do,
I'm
bro.
saying?
It's amazing.
Like, don't be drinking and gambling. That's probably a bad mix. So what do? I do neither. You know what I'm saying?
Right. You learn what not to do.
Yeah, like I don't think I'm going to drink. I don't think I'm going to gamble. I think I'm going to teach people about why they shouldn't gamble and talk about binomial probability distributions and all the kinds of stuff, Bayes theorem and good stuff like that.
That's what's up.
Don't get me started, Fly.
I won't, bro, because I know we probably way over time now.
I already read to them, which is as boring as we can possibly get. And I was threatening to do some math, so we don't want to do that. Yeah, D-Roo, I appreciate it, man. D-Roo wrote, I already stopped it. I'm learning a ton tonight. Thanks. Yeah, man. We trying to do the edutainment, but we were supposed to have, like, for some of y'all checking in for Singapore Kane unfortunately couldn't make it tonight. He's a dope artist from Boston, Mass. He's got a long history. He's also on that Boston Top 50 MCs joint. We can get him up here. Hey, my man from Clubhouse, Bernard Hankins. We're gonna get him up here. He is. Let me tell you what. We might have to play some Bernard anyways, even though he's not here tonight. I threatened him with an email earlier tonight. I'm like, yo, I might just play his stuff anyways. I told him last minute. I was like, yo, you should come through. But I don't think he had seen the email when I knew Singapore Kane wasn't coming in. But Bernard, man, we've been working on teaching a class together, and he's an incredible educator, and he's also a dope spoken word poet. And he's here. I'm right outside DC right now. He's in. He's actually a little bit away. It's not like right next door. He's in Charlottesville, where my wife went, UVA.
Okay.
He teaches down there. Dope spoken word poet, and much like yourself, he is a inspirational rapper.
Excellent.
Yes. Well, he probably wouldn't want me to call him a rapper, but he's a poet. But he's got bars, bro. When I say he's got bars, like he's so humble. You know, we're talking about. You got to. You don't want to be pitching yourself all the time. It's not like our nature, but we got to do it. Dude, he's so humble that you would actually think that he's probably little extra humble. Like, you'll be talking about poetry and he'll be like, oh yeah, I do it. No, this dude's like a sensei. You know what I'm saying? And I love that. Don't you love that, man?
Absolutely,
when you find a sensei.
man. Absolutely, bro. It's always worth it. That's what gems are, man. When you discover them, rarely are they on the surface.
Sensei, bro. So I was talking with him in a couple. We're always philosophizing. We hit each other up all the time, and we get in a little room and we'll talk or whatever. And so many similarities, right? His website. I gotta show you his website. I'm pre-advertising for Bernard. Let me do the pre-advertisement for Bernard here, and I got to make sure I share the audio this time. So look at what he has listed on his page: poet, teacher, public speaker. All right, I got a song called Poet Teacher. Did a whole TED Talk called Poet Teacher. So I slide down and it's his TED Talk. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, yo, bro, does a TED Talk. He's a poet, a teacher, public speaker. It sounds very familiar. So let's go to his audio. And this joint, you're gonna love this joint right here. This first spoken word joint. Look at the title of this one right here. Ready? You ready for this title? God's Hard Drive Club Floor.
Oh wow.
Now tell me if you can hear it. Say yes.
Yes.
Yes? All right. Wait till you hear this. Bernard Hankins, ladies and gentlemen.
God has a file on his hard drive that can never be replaced. It will never be repeated. It can never be erased. It will never be deleted. You are the first, last, and only version of a person out of everyone who was and is to come. Until time and history's done, you exist as one. No other file can replace and overwrite the existing one. Out of millions and billions of bytes, there's not a single duplicate. You exist as a human bit, encrypted script on an exclusive disk, written into your nucleus, DNA encoded, embedded, woven and threaded into 3 MPEG layers. You're a technology with qualities that no one else shares, an ontology and biology impossible to compare.
Even his flows like me.
And I are the last remaining rare backup of a backup of a backup, and there's no spare. Our immortal lives are stored on God's portable drive. There's not even room for two. This is a solitary solid state. There's only room for you. No human
Fly,
will
I'm
ever
telling you.
consolidate. We are the CDR and not the CDRW. We cannot double you. If your data gets lost, there's no way for us to recover you with tech or life support. Nothing we do can troubleshoot, and there's absolutely nothing that God doesn't do. But not even God himself will ever make another you.
What?
And me are unique, tuned, tweaked, zoomed into the peak of the frequency. It's the reason we can lift your print with a forensic kit. Instruments that dust the lens for lit. Sniff your scent because you are different, significant, intrinsic, intricate. Puzzle piece put into it that was meant to fit. Intimate genetic code means your fingerprint is a secret hint. Recombine it, combination of numbers in a string of sequences. 1 0 1 0 1 0. The sum of people who were like you. 1 0. Just because you were breathing, you're pioneering every line, varying every binary, your proprietary property. Nobody can copy you and nobody can copy me. The God in you, the God in me. Everybody is a monopoly, a specific specimen, a special species of intellectual media, a genus put into a protective sleeve and glove and carried in a box. A paradox, because although we're protected from, we're also created from the dust. And even though we never leave our covering sleeves, we can see God's fingerprints all over us.
You know what I'm saying?
Bro,
I was telling him about you.
bro, I've never heard anything harder than that.
He's dope.
That's
yo.
insane. Nah, bro, that's crazy. Bro,
That is Bernard, man.
Bro, that's masterful.
Bernard's some next level. And like you talk to Bernard, right? And Bernard's like, and by the way, his profile picture on Clubhouse looks like Bernard from Westworld. and I get on him because he's never seen Westworld. I'm like, bro, it's like the greatest show ever. And
Oh yeah, I forgot
he's
that's
not,
your show. Yeah.
oh, that's my show.
Yeah.
And so every time we get in the room, we always talk. We're on some philosophical, we going on and on and on. We can talk we're in the same frequency, right? And we both do this kind of work, and he teaches audio. And so we've put together a course, a hip hop course, spoken word course, with both of us doing our thing. And what we need to do, what we haven't done, is we need to make a spoken word joint together. And it's funny because when I was
That's
checking out a
cold, bro.
yes, tag team spoken word,
That
right?
is going
And
to
we
be
have
cold.
we have a similar flow. Like even his opening line is a line that I've said before, like the exact same way. Like it's like the frequency you see in me, I'd need to be the person. And then, flipping off the word association of the blind, collecting the I find, it's just very similar. And so, mindset first and foremost. And then we go back and forth on, certain stuff or whatever, but we approach it from a similar angle. And I just love highlighting people that are just unsuspectingly dope. Like he's a Jedi, you know what I'm saying?
Bro,
but he doesn't present himself like a Jedi.
That's brilliant, bro. That's brilliant.
And you know how I feel about Jedis.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
He's in the Jedi Club.
Bro, I'm a fan. Absolutely.
Yeah,
that's the first time I ever heard of this brother. And hearing that, and
he's
you,
real DL, bro.
and I know it's just one spoken word, but like we know enough about entertainment to know that you don't get lucky that lucky.
No.
Like
Dude, that's not even his best piece,
Yeah,
yo.
you got
That's
to
not,
be good.
and it's funny because I sat down last night to put instrumentation. This is how the wavelength. I sat down to put instrumentation to a spoken word that was real basic, just a beat and a little bit of vibey keys. And I didn't have the right key sets in here because I have to play it out, right here. And I was like, oh man, I got to get a little bit. I got to get a better controller, because I've been approached for I was telling you a lot of spoken word in movies and stuff, but I'm like, I don't just want to do spoken word. I want to have the stuff behind. And then I listen to his thing. I'm like, yo, that's exactly it. You doing it. You do exactly it. Just a little light beat with a little stuff. And I'm like, yeah. So I've been telling him a lot about the sync game too. And trying to turn him on to that because, I've been doing a lot of business in that end lately and just trying to do as much as we can. And he's got a lot to say and he's just an incredible dude. So shout out to Bernard.
Shout out Bernard, bro. We got to
get
Bernard up here.
Of course, I spelled his name Barnard. I didn't mean to do that. So that was Bernard. Bernard was not going to appreciate that part.
That's the salutation, man, right there, man. Like that was brilliant.
Yeah.
You don't get that lucky, man. You only write something like that if you that dude.
Yes. Let me spell his name right. Let me give him that. Man, I typed too fast, man. I can't be doing that. I gotta get it right.
How does he spell his name? Benard? How does he spell it?
BER. I spelled it BAR by mistake. Okay. I didn't mean to do that. Where did he go? That
was brilliant, bro. I can't even.
And topically, he was right in your zone. You know what I'm saying?
Bro, and he write like, I love when people write stuff that I don't feel like I could write. The way I would have never thought of that. I would have thought of that, but it would never came out like that. Like the whole the identity of creation, like you said.
Okay, I think I had it right.
It's right in my wheelhouse, man. But the way he put that together was just so eloquent, man.
He did it. He's got a video on his site too, where he's rocking at his graduation at UVA, and they have him come up, and he just tears it down. And he does one. He does some dope stuff on like diversity. It's crazy stuff. Very, very talented, very good dude, and great educator. And his students are lucky to have him because you know what I mean. It's a tough game out there for educators. So, and when you're that nice and you're just doing mostly education, you're not doing as much on the other side. I gotta come in and gotta be like, yo, bro, there's a whole other world out there. I gotta show you. I want to take him on the road and do some stuff. It would be great. So that's
absolutely, man. Which
get me some ProQuo fly shows.
Touch bases at some point too, man, about the whole FSFX, man. They got a whole tour thing going on, and a lot of it's, I think, like half of it's kind of closer to you, the other half is kind of closest to me on this end, and hopefully at some point, man, we can kind of meet up in the middle somewhere.
Yeah. But I got a lot of those shows coming up in March.
Yeah, totally.
And
they got the Chicago thing, and man,
we're gonna make that Texas thing work.
Absolutely,
as well.
Man. They're gonna be here too, where I am. Of course, you closer to me.
You always say. You always say. In your world.
Just one flight away, my brother. One flight away, man. I don't mind, man. I come that way. I done it. I had no problem, man. And that DC flight
it was Tree spelling Bernard. So I was like, I'm like, no, I spelled him right. And it was her comment. I thought that was me typing it. She wrote Barnard. All right. So, and Epi copied her. So Tree and Epi wrote Barnard. Get Barnard on the show. That'd be dope. Yeah, no, we try. He's already been invited. He's definitely going to come on. It's just he didn't expect me to, probably hit him up 10 minutes before the show. Be like, whoops. But yeah, and by the way, conversation with Bernard is gonna be even better than music. I mean, this dude,
absolutely,
he's deep, dude. He's a philosopher, and he's the most chill dude when he's talking. So you sit there to listen to him. You almost feel like you're with your therapist the way he talks.
I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm looking forward to it, bro.
Yeah.
Let me jump, man, and get with the fam.
Yeah, me too.
My wife's still home before she leaves to work.
Me too. And Tree, don't worry, man. I know you spelled it wrong, but we can't all be flawless like Fly.
We all can't be right, Somebody got to
be all flawless like Fly.
You can do better, is what I can tell you, Tree. If I'm the mark, you aiming too low, way too low.
You are the mark, the bar, and all that good stuff.
You thinking limbo? I need you thinking more like high jump. That's all I'm saying.
And I'm thinking we need a Fly Style Friday is what we need pretty soon. That's all that I know. We haven't had a Fly Style Friday in a little bit of time, man.
Don't tempt me. Don't tempt me, bro, because I'm hitting my stride a little bit with this gig, and I started going back to the studio.
Enjoy, folks.
And it's bro, it's right on the horizon, bro.
It's there, huh?
It's
all right. I got like 7 tracks that are like almost done, and none of them are done. So I'm looking forward to getting them done. And
you know, we always in that boat, bro. Just swaying
Yep.
in the ocean of stuff we could release.
Yep. Hey, we're gonna start telling people that Freedom Corner is coming. So that's Fly and Pro and Quo. So we're gonna have something for y'all to share the love for ProQuo out there. You're gonna start hearing that on the radio real soon. Mostly college and mix stations, but we're gonna do what we do, and we're gonna ask you to share the love too. And it's a great time for it. Again, happy Black History Month, everybody out there, and we will see you next time.
Peace.
Peace out.